Hello, 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 everybody. I am the King of Nightmares, and you are currently watching Horror, Gore, and Lore, and we present to you this evening the very first developer stream of 2022, Echoes, who was sent by the developer Bubba Nura. So, thank you for sending us a free copy of this game. I am going to wait real quick for the first person to talk because you are all seeing a black screen for a certain purpose. So, we will wait and I will explain why. Hello, Sir 82 Bens. Welcome to the stream. So, I have a quick announcement before we actually start the developer stream. Happy New Year. It is the first day of 2022. And you are here currently watching it on Horror, Gore, and Lore. Though, speaking of, we have also published our YouTube channel as of yesterday, like we said we were. So I wanted to show off the trailer for the YouTube channel. So, we're going to watch that first, and then we will be playing Echoes. So, let us get started. I realize that the audio is not currently working, so give me one moment. That would be why. Perfect. Let's try this again, shall we? Hello, hello, hello. I am the King of Nightmares. You are currently watching Horror, Gore, and Lore. Welcome to the new YouTube channel, where I'm looking to expand my domain and spread across it the horrors of this world, the gore of humanity, and the lore to tell the ages. So please, do not run, do not hide, for we will end up finding you. And once we do, we will make you scream and beg for more. So, please, relax. Take a seat, and let your blood flow, for it won't be long until the next nightmare begins. And there you have it. There is the trailer for the new YouTube channel, Horror, Gore, and Lore. So, with that being said, let us now begin the actual developer stream of Echoes by Bubba Nura. And before we all leave this evening during the intermission, I thank you, 82 Bits. So as I was saying, I will be posting the YouTube link for you all, so that way you can all view it yourselves. So let us load in the game of Echoes. So, with this game, it's a lot of reading, so please bear with me. I actually did not grab a drink, but that is okay. I will grab one later. So, where we last left off was we were getting the story of... I don't even remember our name. But we were playing as this man who came back to his home village in Russia after not being there for many, many years. And the only reason why he came back is because he had some unfinished business to attend to with one of his friends, which is the current house we are in. And she's dead. Her whole family's dead. She went through a lot in her lives and all of that. So, let us begin. I just realized you cannot actually hear me. So, Savetta is the girl's name. So, Savetta fussing in the kitchen by the stove. When I and her parents came to help her, as a kid, I came here a couple of times too. Then everything was much brighter and friendlier. Make it so that you can actually hear me. Maybe it just seemed that way to me because I was still a child? Or does the house really smell of rotten death now? The furniture is still there. Even some hanging rags left untouched. Despite inhospitable appearance, the house didn't look ransacked by the locals. The door is open, though. Perhaps the house was saved by the fact that it is not too close to the rest of the villages. I stepped further. Oh yes, and it's also a choose-your-own story kind of thing, so when choices are here, it is up to all of you to tell me which choice. So, well, wow. Almost like before. Even this old desk is still standing. In our childhood, I and Savetta used to spread it on it and read through the comic books and magazines I gave her as presents. As we got older, I tried to avoid coming into the whole Hoth window use. What? Because of her parents. She must have written her letters to me on this desk right here. Curtained windows. Luckily, never opened since the last funeral. The bed is displaced. A saucepan of some sort on the benches. Apparently, there were strangers in this house after all. Fishermen, probably. Maybe even Uncle Nura. And there is an ancient Soviet display cabinet that every household in the Soviet Union probably had. I wonder what's inside. I walked up to the cabinet and opened its crackling doors. The stench of dust mixed with another something forced its way into me. Some rot. A sack of paper, bills, packs of postcards, old photographs, and letters. Could these be mine? I picked up a neatly bound stack of letters and examined them carefully. I could barely see anything. It's pitch darkness. Even my phone's backlight hardly helps. Still, I managed to see old Soviet stamps and unfamiliar handwriting on the envelopes. No, these must have been relatives and friends of her parents. And my letters, are they somewhere around here too? If only I could see something. I took a flashlight with me, I completely forgot about it. For some reason, I don't want to bother him, as if someone might not like it, or get the flashlight from the backpack and examine the sideboard. Those are their options. Though I don't understand why it says, I don't want to bother him. As if someone might, not like it. Like, is it referring to us and, like, we're an outside force and we don't examine? Alright. Aha! From Bolvata vs. from Lengrid. I wonder who it is. I took the letter out of the neatly cut envelope and ran my eyes over the text. Hello, dear Nadia. The weather in Leningrad is rainy, as it is right now. Misha and I went to the theater. You wrote that Mashenka was ill. I hope she is fine now. How is she doing in school? Not a single familiar name. Who is it? Oh god. Again, I don't know Russian, so I'm going to butcher all of these. So, Zabolotska Nadezhda Stepanovna. Surname of the same as on the grave. Oh, the grandmother. Or close. Her grandmother. I mean, the letter for her grandmother for some relative or friend? Mashinka is perhaps Saveta's mother, Aunt Masha, and incredible how quickly our lives fly by. And old people were once young. Or young ones. I read on now with more attention. To be promoted, and he promised to help with the monument for mother. After all, it's a good thing she's lying in a cemetery like all normal people, and not like our grandmother. There was a famous actor. We took pictures. Zina died. Vieta told me about it when we met, and I was very upset. Zina died. A monument for my mother. She's lying on a cemetery, not like her grandmother. Is that sister? What's wrong with their grandmother, and who is Zina? The farther into the forest, the thicker the trees. I'm getting dizzy. Put the stack of letters aside and look for something else, or continue reading. Interesting. So piecing it all together, I'm thinking these letters are to the grandmother, who, or at least the woman who is the other grave, about their grandmother. So Savetia's great-great-grandmother, probably. That's what the body of the cemetery. I don't know. Keep reading. Read other letters for a second. I folded the letter and put it back in the envelope. One letter after another flashed before my eyes. Congratulations on birthdays, New Year's, mundane details, and weather descriptions. Occasionally mentioning people who had died. In the last letter, the receiver was wished healthy and a speedy recovery. Apparently, this was the end. In the same letter, several particular lines caught my eye. As for my mother, she never came to see me again since I had left. Nurture? Probably. Don't nurture bad thoughts and still do bring flowers to her grave at least once in a while. Just in case. It's no good to forget the dead. Bring it to her grave. So Svieta's great-grandmother is also buried here. I wish I've seen her grave. Interesting are the lines about the fact that the mother did not come to them anymore. Probably in a dream. Everything in this house is steeped in death. Even dreams. However, in early childhood, Saveta mentioned some strict grandmother, whom even her father was afraid. But her own grandmother died before Saveta was even born. And the great-grandmother even before that. It must have been about her father's mother, who came to visit them. And yet, something foul stirred inside me. Deep near the very bottom. Deeper than the memories of Saveta. As for my mother, she never came to see me again. Nonsense. Put the letter in the packet side. Okay. Okay, that's a creepy picture of a girl. Old photo albums. Having opened one of them at random, I sat down at the desk and began to look at old photos. Unfamiliar faces. Most of them are no longer alive. I flipped the pages hoping to come across some childhood photos of Saveta, but I wasn't even sure I'd recognize her. You could try to guess from a photo's condition, or by attributes particular to time periods. Having flipped through a couple of albums, I found nothing. I opened a large, thick notebook that lay between them, and my eyes immediately fell on the notes. What is it? Looked like some personal records. Okay, so that old woman right in the upper left-hand corner is the image from the Steam page, so... This is a folk memorial ceremony, a ritual dinner in memory of the deceased relatives. It was said about the deceased that he went before his grandfathers. Now the warm and soft autumn is replaced by a late autumn, a winter's close friend. It was partially associated with death. Nature died for several months. The coming of a memorial, or Dies Irae, a sumptuous feast is prepared for the dead. In this village, they made a table with various dishes and drinks and summoned the souls of the deceased. They lit the wine and flax and judged the coming souls by the color of the flame, saying, what will you soul wish to go to heaven? This spring on Vadinichta. Again, my Russian, not great. The dead are all to be visited on a cemetery, and on this day to the invited to homes retreat. The honoring of ancestors is one of the most important components of all cultures. Amongst the Slavic tribes, it is perhaps even more developed than among others. Following death, commemorate. Oh my god, or maybe I may not be able to read. Whatever, are held in 3rd, 9th, and 14th days after it, and are accompanied by feasts. Commemorations, there we go. The number of dishes on the table could be any, as long as it was odd and not less than 5. There should be no piercing and cutting objects on the table. Food was eaten with spoons that were left on the table from time to time for the ancestors to use. Each dish was served in pairs, 7 dishes on 14 plates. Okay. Before eating a dish, some of it was put into a special plate for the ancestors. It was usually placed on the windowsill. Autumn Dizier is held on November 1st through the 2nd, or is that supposed to be 12? Taken somewhat aback, I continue to look at the photos passed in the notebook. I've never heard of these traditions. Amazing. And Sveta's family wasn't even particularly religious, and yet honored for the dead is deeply instilled in them. I must admit, though, that we all keep these traditions even in the modern world. It's just that hardly anyone have ever thought about the origin of these simple actions, which have become more like rules of etiquette, rather than some ritualistic traditions. After looking at the particular photos a little longer, I closed the notebook and put it back together with the photo albums. Alright, and then lastly, a stack of papers of some kind. Postcards, letters, bills, and forms. Happy New Year of 1986, read the inscription on one of the cards. Happy Women's Day, March 8th. Let your girl grow healthy and beautiful. From your loving grandfather. Sveta had never mentioned her grandfather. He may have died when she was very young. The inscription on one of these old pieces of paper read, "Pray for the peace of the dead. It must have belonged to Sveta's mother, after Sveta's father died." Another piece of paper. What is it? "I'm sorry, I know it's best for you and me. Aunt Olia will help you. Don't cry for me. I wish you all the best. Sell the house and go to the city. But don't stay here alone. They will try to take you away. Don't give in. Look after the graves in the back until you leave. You know yourself that you can't abandon them. Don't disturb them. Remember the dead. Goodbye." A chill ran down my arms. Not only is a chill being ran down his arms, but what the hell is going on in this household? So I'm getting a lot of, we have to respect the dead, which is totally fair and fine. But what happens if nobody can respect the dead? Or, let me rephrase that. Now that we are coming back to respect the dead, how long is it going to be until I have something happen to me for not doing it to begin with? I can't believe it. It's a note from her mother. A suicide note. They will try to take you away. Don't give in. Is this about the relatives? The graves in the backyard. What is this? Is it for real? Do they really have graves in their backyard? Yeah, no kidding. That's what I want to know. It can't be. Sveta would have told me about it. I should check it out. Although, maybe I shouldn't. Go to the backyard to see if there's graves. Yes, I must be convinced of this now, or no. Nonsense. There's nothing there. Okay, we all know we want to go see it. I must be convinced by this now. This is a grand story. I'm really enjoying this. Seeing where it's going and everything like that. Yep, thought so. I darted out into the street. Wow, it stopped raining. It wasn't raining anymore, but it was dark. I mean, the sky was almost black, despite it still being a few hours until the sunset. There was a smell of dampness on the probably street. Everything was silent. Not a breath of wind, not a rustle of grass. Silence. Just the time to go look at graves in the backyard of the abandoned house in the woods, because everyone knows that's what you have to do. Sorry, just wanted to save. I guess if I were 10 years younger, I'd be scared. If only it didn't hurt so much. No way. It can't be. It's just... I moved carefully toward the bathhouse and the other buildings in the backyard. Hey, it's real. There are 3 of them even. I just can't not believe it. Who would ever think of burying people in their garden? Is it to make the potatoes grow better? Gotta get that carbon. Or is it to get a taste of your relatives? Yeah, I wanted to go with the whole potato thing. It's just... I can but swear. My only question is why? And who would allow it? I'm going to go with judging. From nearly top crosses, they have been here for a very long time. They could even have been replaced over the time. Maybe it's just some kind of ancient tradition. Most likely, it is. After I calmed down a little, I remembered once hearing something along those lines. Houses of the dead, grave mounds that were often found by the locals in the woods. About the archaeologists who found something in the area. If I recall correctly, it was also mentioned someone's burial of their close family on their land. But I may be wrong. Besides that, I can remember somebody mentioning a basement. But I think it was a different religion. In ancient times, cellars were also used as burial places for family members. Oh, excuse me. I'm not actually tired. It's the fact that I'm just reading out loud everything. So, imagine that. You down there for pickled cucumbers, and while you're at it, you could also put on grandmother's grave. Although, once I imagined it, it stopped being too creepy. It might still be creepy for a stranger. Okay, I walk closer to one of the graves. Okay, so this is the grandmother who was in the picture and on the page, and alright. The writing and dates were almost completely erased by corrosion. I could only discern one word. Anna. Strange. Her face looks familiar. That'd be the photo album. Yes, I've definitely seen it somewhere before. That look and her eyes. Yes, this old woman's eyes were different. I cannot tell the colors, the photo has decayed too much. But the iris of one eye was clearly brighter than the other. I've definitely noticed this detail in this portrait before. If I recall correctly, I pointed it out in a dialogue with somebody. But when and with whom? The forest rustled. A light, fresh breeze blew in my face. Silence again. This usually happens before a strong wind. I just hope there won't be a hurricane. I've got to hurry. Again, sorry. I might actually pause for a moment, hit intermission, and just go get a drink real quick, so. I still haven't gone to Savetta's room. Alright, well, good as place as any to quickly go and do that. So save that one, yes. Also, I don't know why all of a sudden it's not properly lining up. There we go. All right, so again, I would like to thank the moderators 82 Bands, Phone Spray, and Nightbot, as well as users 11 Marceau A. Aglet, another viewer, Caparus06, Lady T09, and Tina Riff. Thank you so very much for joining us. We will be right back. I need to go grab a drink, or else my throat is going to kill me. All right, and we are back. I should have asked, what is everyone else drinking? Maybe it would have helped me make a decision on what I should drink. However, I did end up going with orange juice. All right, so let us go back to it. We will do a regular intermission as well, but for now, having pondered for a minute about what I saw, I look around the room one more time. To the left, there was a curtained opening. Was a curtained opening or certain opening? Civetta's room. You know what I'm drinking. That's fair, and I'm not going to be drinking coffee at 8 p.m., so. The doorpost clearly indicated that the way the house had inclined over time. For a second, I thought it was summer. It's warm and bright outside. And Civetta is lying on the bed in her room. Mesmerized by the soothing fantasies, I pulled back the curtain and stepped in. Is it me, or did we actually lose all audio? Like, hold on. Nope. Everything is on. I guess there's just no audio for now. Well, here I am. I should have done this a long time ago. It's dreadfully painful to see it all empty and dead. But when she lived here, did her homework, wrote her letters to me, walked around, and slept on this bed, a strange idea came to my mind of examining her bed. Maybe I can find her hair here. What a strange idea. Why do I need it? I don't know. No particular reason. I'll put it in a flask and keep it, looking at it occasionally. In fits of melancholy, I carefully examined the blanket and the pillow, but found nothing. There's nothing left. And one day there will be nothing left of the house. Only the forest. I ran my hand over the blanket. What a strange feeling it is. Touch objects that once lived with their owners. I thought I could smell her. It's her smell. I know for sure. I would never be able to remember it if I didn't feel it again. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. Sometimes what you see and feel is more important than what you know to be true. I stood and looked at the bed, and my mind was drawing me pictures from the past. A cold. I think I caught it after all. My feet are still wet. Drink some more. Perhaps I don't want. So he's referring to the vodka with, I want to say, onion. Maybe it wasn't an onion with it. I don't even remember what we have. But I know it's some sort of vodka. Maybe it was beet vodka? No, okay, I don't want. My eyes fell on an old nightstand. There must be something from our childhood inside. Comic books and magazines I gave her. Maybe even the letters. Or photographs. Oh, okay. We'll do that one. Nope, there is sound. It's just no back sound. I opened the drawer. Notebooks, a textbook, and a small box. Inside the box, I saw a lot of small items. Paper clips, erasers, some sort of small key. Underneath the notebooks, there were several pieces of paper. Drawings, graves, trees, and some faces. I opened one of the notebooks and found a lot of drawings and notes with dates. I looked in an attempt of keeping a diary. I ran my eyes over the lines. My mother always lit up candles and put vodka on their graves. So they don't come. Only on their day does she leave the table set before going to bed. Only on their day, like their birthday, their death day, or other. I can't sleep on nights like these. It always seems to me that someone is walking around the house or sitting at the table. Sometimes I can even hear their muffled voices and clinking of dishes. I can hear the floorboards creaking, the hand wash making noise. I hear somebody's whispering. What is this? I felt a little uneasy. The touch of nostalgia began to slowly give way to an unpleasant feeling of anxiety. I put the papers back in their place and closed the drawer. All right. Without thinking, I opened the door to the nightstand. The window in Savetia's room was sufficient to allow a detailed examination of the insides with no need of additional light. Before my eyes immediately appeared a stack of magazines. Some boxes, small purses, stacks of books, notebooks, textbooks, Russian classics studied at school, and bundles of letters tied with string. Well, finally, I picked up the bundle of tied letters. This is my handwriting. It hasn't changed much ever since. She kept them. I knew it. In any case, I really wanted to believe it. Flipping through the old envelopes, I've opened some of them at random and read. My God, what nonsense. I felt both embarrassed and amused. I can only imagine the foolish smile I probably had at that moment. I could have told her so many things, important ones. But I couldn't even find proper words of support after her father died. Now I am embarrassed to read those dry, almost formal words of condolence. How on earth did she even stand me? Line by line, I was thrown back into the past again, and the memories took hold of me like never before. Achievement is a villager. At one point, I tipped my head back to the pillow and closed my eyes, and I felt her smell again. Another illusion inspired by memories? My thoughts mixed up into a complete mess. I began to think once again about what life would be like if things had turned out differently. My fantasies were starting to take all too plausible outlines. Oh, I turned to the wall and saw her asleep. Her face was inches away from mine. I could smell her even more strongly and feel her breathing on me. At some point, I suddenly realized that she wasn't sleeping, but pretending. I want to say that's me. I don't know. Is it cold in here again? And that must be Savetta. So, yeah. Savetta answered sweetly, as if not to break out of a pleasant dream. I've come to see you. Let us lie, shall we? Go ahead. I said and started talking about some kind of silliness. With her eyes shut, she laughs helplessly into the blanket, making funny piggish snorts. I don't know how much time passed, but it seemed to me that it was morning already. The sun came in through the window. Everything became brightly lit. I realized that I talked to her all night and I had returned home soon. Alone. And yet, I wasn't sad for some reason. Everything had been going exactly as meant. And then, still half asleep and without opening her eyes, she said, "Well, it's time for you to go. Otherwise, Grandma will swear when she comes." Will swear when she comes. Why would she? Because she's angry. She's angry because no one comes to see her. Oh, shit. Grandma, the dead one. Okay. She says that everyone has forgotten about her. Okay. Hello, Savetta. After that, Savetta opened her eyes and looked at me. I hadn't seen the look in years. You won't forget about me, will you? Never. No, never. Good. Then I'm at peace. Come again sometime. I will. All right. Next moment, I woke up. Before me was a bare, uncurtained window. Strange. Who ripped the curtains off of the windows in her room? And why? It was already dark outside. It's only after a few seconds then I began to realize that I just dreamed. The pleasant light gave way to a feeling of unease. A slight chill ran through my body. What does that mean? Did you really visit me in my dream? Or was it my brain just showing me what I want to? Well, there's some more sound. I knew something was coming. How many of you jumped? Sudden lightning struck me out of bed immediately. What the? I still have to go home. I just hope it won't rain. Or else I'm sure to get stuck down with Okay, I want to say fever. Right in the village. Or here. Within moments after I'd finished voicing that thought in my head, I suddenly heard rustle outside the window. It sounded as if someone was walking around the house. And once more... No, it's not my imagination. There's somebody outside. Maybe a fox or some other wild animal. Some foul, chilling feeling was enveiling me like a fog. I strained my ears again. Silence. I could, of course, walk to the window, but I was afraid. Besides, pretty much anything could make noise on the street. Come on, what is happening there? Some despicable, distinct knocks on the wall of the house, right under the window. It's like someone banging their head. Holy shit. What are those nasty noises? Still too embarrassed to admit to myself that I was scared, I slowly go up and left Savetta's room. I can't hear anything here. What a dreadful silence. I don't like this house anymore. I no longer felt nostalgic about it. A stranger house, where strangers lived. Even for Savetta, it was a stranger house. Outside the house, near the porch, there was some weak noise again. What in God's name is this? Could it simply be a stray cat? Too far from the village. It must have been some kind of animal. It can't be people, not around here. The sounds I thought I heard next I could only attribute to a human. It sounded like an old man running out of breath. And so clear, it can't be my imagination. I stood rooted to the ground, afraid to move. I've got to do something. There was not a faintest trace left of what recently were memories tearing my soul apart. Fear settled in my mind. and much like a parasitic worm, it had been gnawing at my mind from the inside out. A sound of approaching car could be heard from outside. Is it Uncle Nura? Just in time. And what if it isn't him? Fear is instilled in me, distrust to everything happening around me. It was on the brink of becoming my full-on panic. I stood stupefied, afraid to even approach the window. The mere idea that it was not him was in itself scarier than all. The car pulled up to the house, and I heard a slight squeak of brakes. When the engine was killed, everything came dead quiet. Second by second, the silence in my ears rang harder. He honked. This is Uncle Nura. He came for me. I don't know why I decided that. There was no logic to it. It was just that my panic and doubts were dispelled in an instant that was easily convinced it was him. That very instant, I was out on the street. A little confused in the darkness, I realized I was running in the wrong direction. I must save, and we'll make an empty slot. I'm so glad I won't have to walk through the woods in the darkness. What? Huh? An exception has occurred. While running game code, it is script, I looked around and saw the headlights of the goat, which in the moment symbolized to me a safe and living something file, and it says who interact cards exception. What? Should we ignore and sort the exceptions, allowing you to continue? This often leads to additional error. I did break it. Oh, okay, yeah, we, let's back. Okay, we'll just, oh, okay, well, quits the game. No, let's just ignore it and just hope for that. First of all, living. Something compatible of snatching me out of the draft of the dead world. It wasn't until I was walking that I realized I was shaking a little. It was dog cold outside. You breathed out steam. Upon reaching the car, I slippantly opened the door and climbed into the back seat without further ado. Did you see the lightning? I'm standing on a fishing rod, and there on your side... Blast! And straight into the ground. I almost shit myself. Uncle Nura laughed loudly and contagiously. I felt relieved, and I think I smiled a little. What is it with you? Temka, you look all pale. What happened? Really? I asked with tremolo in my voice. It's okay now. Everything's all right. Let's just get out of here as fast as possible. I will tell you everything later. No questions asked, Uncle Nura turned the ignition key. Nothing. One more time. It stalled again. No, not that. Uncle Nura cursed loudly and turned the key again. Goat rattled. There it goes. But I decided to stay in check. Just in case. Having escaped the now abandoned village, we found ourselves on the night road. With all the bumps and indents on the road, Uncle Gore did best to go faster. He hadn't asked me anything by that time, and I hadn't reached that mood for that. How's the volume, by the way? It's kind of loud at my end. The lulling darkness inside the car soothed me alright. So much so that the darkness of the night's forest wasn't all that frightening anymore. Let it sleep. Let some of us forgotten how sleep too behind the forest. Let them all sleep to the lullaby in honor of a dead. Is that the end? volume is... I wonder. Oh, okay. Okay. Hold on. I think I know what this is. Alright, main menu. Yes. So, I think what we did to the story was that we just left. Like, our choices made it so that we just left, and that was it. We visited, and then he got so panicked that he's just like, we're done. No more. Nuh-uh. So, that's the end of the game, by how we played it. So I wonder what choices we made that we should have probably changed. Should we continue playing this to try to figure out the story more, or should we just leave it at that? Because the achievement that we got is called Old Friend, which is leave the village with an old friend, which is Uncle Nura. So that is the end. Damn it, should have had a drink. That's what I'm thinking. I think we should have gotten drunk and something else would have happened. So we'll have to start a new game, because I don't think having pondered about it, I look around the room one more time on the left. Okay, no, we're good, I think. So I'm not rereading this anymore, unless we get something new. So we're just going to go through all of this. Here I am. What a strange idea. I don't know. No particular reason. I put it in a flask and keep it. That's about her hair. I could smell her picture. Okay. So we're going to save it here. Actually, no. We're going to make another save. We're going to put it there. So save number 3 is the... We got out, yada yada. Save 4 is where we will have the drink. So... we will drink, because if not, nothing happens. So, because if it's a new choice, we'll continue reading. I took out the bottle and took a long gulp. The burning heat spread down my throat again. It's not too bad. I'll find something memorable and sit a little longer. And then I'll go home. Alright. My eyes fell on an old nightstand. There must be something in our childhood inside. Again, I'm going to kind of speed read now because, again, we're now in the same process that we've already read everything, but I'll go slow enough so if it's something new, I'll read it. If I don't see anything new, I'm just going to keep skipping over it. Is there any objections to the king's will? I will say it that way. Just because, why repeat it if we've already heard it, as well as, why kill my throat? But I mean, if you want me to, I'll do it. But, again, I personally don't see a point to doing it that way. If we've already done it, no objections. Alright, so, speed reading. Comic books, letters, photographs, yada yada. I open the drawer. Okay, paper clips, all that. Jar engraves, yep. Mother always lights candles, puts vodka. Don't come. Yep, I can't sleep on nights like these. Nothing seems okay. Sitting on the table, muffled voices. Alright, nostalgia. Okay, close the door. Okay. Without thinking, I open the door. Sveta's room, detailed, yep. Textbooks. Our letters. So many things, important ones. How on earth did she even stand me? Closed my eyes, smelled her. The fantasies were starting to take on all too plausible outlines. I turned to the wall, saw her asleep, inches away, still sleeping, cold in here, conversation. Why would she? The grandmother's angry. She's opened her eyes. Don't forget about me. I will never. Good. I'm at peace. Okay. Next moment, I woke up. Before me was a bare uncurtained window. Strange. Who ripped the curtains off? Okay. Dark out. Lightning flash. Home. What the? I still have to go home. I heard rustling outside the windows. Sounded as if somebody walking through the house. And once more, no, it's not my imagination. Somebody's there. Wild animal. Silence. I was afraid. Yup. Banging their head. Holy shit. Nasty noises. Alright, so far so good. It's still the same. He was scared. Stranger's house. One god's name. Stray cat. Too far. Sound I thought I heard is human. I stood rooted to the ground, afraid to move. Faintest trace. Parasitic worm of anxiety. Uncle Nura, just in time. But what if it wasn't him? Alright, we're going to save again. This is save 4. Fear. Squeak of the brakes. Engine was killed. Everything becoming dead quiet. He honked. This is Uncle Nura. He came for me. Alright. Very instant. On the street. Woods. Yes. It says who, what, interact. Okay, I don't care. Ignore that. Did you see lightning? Really? Alright. Stalled. Okay, it worked. And... Okay, so we need to start over from the very beginning. So... me doing it this way. We're going... What happens if I hit skip? Oh my god. Alright. I hit skip one time and it just went like, yep, no, bye. Alright, hey, we're off the train. Alright, so... everything is the exact same now. So when we come to different options... I remember what we chose. I'll save it beforehand. That way, if we need to go back, we'll get to it. So, I'm not reading any of this. Passing through the village. Alright. Lemonade. Nothing's changed. Puddles still. Okay. So, we are going to save here. And we're going to actually save over this file. So, we went into our house the first time. So, we're going to try to change the opposite. And if something fucks up in the process, we'll just go back to the save. So, we are going to go there on the way back. Now it's going to be a different story. I remember our riding up and down this road. It's funny, when I was little, I wasn't allowed to leave the village, and Savetta would ride wherever she pleased. She'd always ride down here, so far away from her farmstead. To me, though I do just realize something. We now have no items. We don't have a flashlight, we don't have vodka, and we don't have the snack. So I wonder what this is going to happen to the story. On the other hand, I doubt anyone cared. Maybe somebody will give me a lift, though. That would be really great. It would save so much time. Perhaps I would even have enough time to see her grave, her house, and maybe catch the night train back. That's probably what happened, was we actually managed to see the grave, see her house, and that's how we got the ending we did. Was because we had Uncle Nura come help us, we were able to leave, end of story. So, hopefully now, with the choices we make, stuff's going to happen. I have to avoid spending the night here, or should I not hurry at all and simply stay here for one night? One way or another, it's a long way to walk. I wish I had my bicycle, but it's a long since gone. I wonder if anyone's still... Okay. I do remember reading all of this. It was Uncle Nura. Alright. So... Immediately want to disappear or become invisible. Okay, so we're going to save. This is Nura. So we're going to make that 5. And we wanted to see how surprised he was going to be. So we are going to move on before somebody notices me. We're going to just change the story completely. Keep him out of it. So, if there are no objections to that, I'm just going to continue to do the opposite of what we did before. I don't know if that was fully mentioned. I know I mentioned that part, but I don't remember if I said I was going to. What say you? Should I just do everything opposite? And I do realize that 82 Ben, you are the only one speaking in the chat, which, I mean, that's fine. However, if somebody doesn't say something when 82 Ben has to leave, I'm going to pick. That's the king. And, yes, opposite, okay. So, just clarifying. Once 82 Benz leaves, somebody either takes over and tells me what to do in a reasonable time, or I'm just going to say fuck it and do the king's order and just do whatever the hell I want. Alright, so. No, I can't. I must look like an idiot. I can't help it, though. I really like to talk to Uncle Nura, but some deep-seated sociophobe in me played its part. I better hire some stranger and pay. I walked down a familiar road, something clenching inside. From being back, this place is a stranger to me. And I am a stranger to it and the people here. But it does not matter. I have to go. Looking forward to seeing how things change. Thank you for the stream and have a good night. You as well. Again, Happy New Year. I'm glad we could start off 2022 with horror, gore, and lore. So, continuing off, I simply need to get to the cemetery, and that's it. That's the end of it. Hey, I turned around the corner and saw a kid trying to start an old motorcycle. He kicked the starter frantically, but the engine wouldn't yield. I stopped dead in my tracks. That's some luck. The kid looked at me suspiciously. Oh, hi. Is it running? Why? The lad asked me, still with suspicion. Look, the thing is, I need to get to the cemetery to pay a visit to someone. It's not far from here. If you give me a lift for, I want to say that's supposed to be 300 ruble, I would really appreciate it. Yes, I know where the cemetery is. You don't have to take me back. I'll walk. What do you say? Yeah. Okay. I just replaced the piston ring. I could use some testing, but it looks like I sloshed the plug. Unfortunately, I know nothing about it, so I can't help. Now, it won't be long. The kid bent over the bike and proceeded to tackle it. I asked his name. Again, okay, so new save. This is Motorcycle Kid. Alright. I'll just sit in silence. We don't need to interact with this kid. While the lad was fixing his old pipe. Oh, thank you, Nightbot. I dwelled in my memories again. In our time, there too were kids riding around on their motorcycles. Of course, they were older than me and Savetta. This boy might be well of a son of one of them. I wonder if Savetta would have had children by now. What if it really was? My thought process was disrupted when the sound of the Kickstarter began frantically yet vainly kicked. Several seconds later, the engine started. The ambient silence was ripped through by the booming roar of the well-worn Soviet motorcycle beast, of which the kid struggled to keep hold of. Huh. It worked. It worked. Hopped on. I hopped in the back and grabbed the boy's shoulder. I hope we don't fall. In just a second, village views were replaced by the gloom of the forest. Each moment, it drew closer to the road. Me and Savetta used to ride our bicycles here. We used to go to her father's grave. I'm almost there. Soon I'll return her something I returned her years ago. Her old slam book. The likes of which teenagers used to love giving each other to fill out. It's a regular notebook with questions inside. What is your name? Who is your best friend? We've already read all of this, so... and it's just grow. Remember the rocky road, the stream in the woods to the right. Something clenched inside me, and I suddenly wanted to be alone. When the cemetery came into view, I frowned so as to make it look easier to control my emotions. I patted the boy's shoulder and shouted loudly over the roar of the engine. Stop! Wait, stop! Thanks, I'll walk from here. I put the 300 rubles I'd prepared in advance into the guy's hand and hopped off. Hey, can you pick me up tonight too? I'll pay you another 500. Give me your number, I'll call you when I'm back on the road. 700, my last offer. I said with a friendly smile. Okay. And with that, time for an intermission. The real intermission now. So, I would like to thank the moderators Nightbot and Phone Sprite, as well as users Aglet, another viewer, Kappa6, and Tina Riff. Excuse me, I just realized I've been mispronouncing your name wrong the entire time. So, thank you all so very much for joining. And as I said earlier, I am going to be posting, or at least copying the new YouTube channel into the chat for you all to take a look at. So, there is the YouTube channel. And that will show you the new trailer that just came out as well. So, join the channel. Hopefully you like what you see, because we're going to be starting up this channel for this year. There is no schedule to it, however, as of right now. We'll see how well it does, and we'll go from there. So, with that being said, let us continue. I took my phone and wrote down the number the kid gave me. What is your name? Vova. Artem. Thank you, Vova. You helped me quite a bit. Yeah, thank you. I mean, you are welcome. I patted him on the shoulder and started walking towards the cemetery. It's been a long time since I came here. The number of graves have seemingly somewhat increased. An unpleasant feeling was squeezing my chest. I reached into my backpack and produced a crumpled notebook. I'll give it back. Even though so many years have passed, I remember everything. But now was the time to say goodbye. Where are you? She must have buried near her parents. Perhaps. It can't be any other way. My thoughts were confused. I think I would talk to myself out loud. Just confused words. It happens. No need to worry. Somewhere here. I was walking between old graves, and more than anything, I was afraid I'd wake up. Not this time. It's all real now. There you are. And here we meet at last. I went behind the fence and my eyes immediately became wet. It's okay. She was portrayed the way I remember her exactly. In our last summer. I couldn't take my eyes off her now. I was mesmerized. For some reason, I again thought that this couldn't be happening. How could a living and smiling person suddenly become dead? How so? I felt my way to the table by the grave, and without taking my eyes off the portrait, I put the notebook on it. And then, in an instant, it all ceased to make any sense. Notebooks, trips. I just needed to be back here then. I had to brace myself, work up my guts, and come here. That's it. I exhaled audibly and looked away. And here in the grave of her parents, they lie together, and they share a mutual monument. It could simply have been cheaper that way. I wonder if it was her mother's deliberate decision not to put up a monument for her husband at first. Was it because she knew full well that her time would come very soon? Or is it just a coincidence? And next to that is her grandmother's grave. Zoboleskia, probably her maiden name. They were Zobolesky, then Solovoya, and then they ceased to be. Because everybody died. And none of them lived either long or happy lives. After another look at her portrait, I sat down closer and began to dig the soil on the grave with my hands. The soil had hardened over the years, but it still yielded, clogging underneath my fingernails. I dug a small hole, took out the sacred notebook from my backpack, and carefully placed it into the hole. I covered the notebook with the ground and leveled it. Then I sat down beside and stared at the portrait of my childhood friend. That's it. It's done. The cold wind blew again. I felt like I could sit there forever. It's been so many years since I've seen her face. It's only here in this photo that I reminded myself all of her features that had faded in my memory over the years. And we did have photos from the childhood. My parents photographed us, but most of them were kept in Savetta's house. I only had a few where we were very young, but there were older ones too. There were many of them. Everything is lost. What about she had? Do they still exist? They must be in her house. I hope to find at least something there. I've got to go there. It'll soon be dark, and I'd like to get back to our house before that. I stood up and looked at her grandmother's grave next to hers. Zabolskia NS, 1916 to 1986. Strange, because Savetta mentioned some grandmother who sometimes visited them. So it wasn't her. Maybe it's not a grandmother at all, but some close relative. What about her grandmother? I never heard of her dying. And then Savetta's mother died. There didn't seem to be any old person among the relatives. I wonder why they hadn't sold the house yet. It doesn't matter. It's time. As I walked along the puddled road, I could feel my wet socks sticking to my feet. As soon as I get to their house, I should try wringing and drying them somehow. I just hope they're not too sick. I just hope not to get sick. Else, if I'm struck with fever, my parents will have to pick me up from the village. It's nice to have somebody who can pick you up or visit you. Maybe it's all for the better. Everything that happened, nobody knows what her life would have been like. A strong wind blew again. Much stronger this time. It's kind of windy today. After a while, the road revealed a gap. There we go. Almost there. There it is. It's right where I was standing that day. The day he screamed that the house rattled. Alright, I do remember reading all this, so we're going to kind of skip all of this. Form residence, forest, rain. Alright, creaking floorboards broke the long silence, darkness. I'll definitely need to look around, but later, move the door. The house was dark. Okay, this is where we started the stream. So, here we're going to just keep doing because everything is exactly the same. Because her parents had written letters on the desk, saucepan. Okay, I wonder what's inside. So I don't have the flashlight. Yep, I got all of that. The letters, could this be mine? I can barely see anything. It's pitch dark. Even the phone back, yep. No, okay. And my letters, are they somewhere around here too? If only I could see something. Okay, so we don't even get to now know what anything is. We don't know the backstory of the Festival of the Dead or giving the the food and wine, or I should say drink, to the deceased. So, this is now all new. I'm actually going to save, and we're going to make it save slot 2. I don't know why I skipped that one. Having pondered for a minute about what I saw, I looked around the room one more time. To the left, there was a curtained opening. Saveta's room. The door was clearly indicated that the house was inclined over time. Okay, we read all of that. Well, here I am. Long time. Did her homework or letters. I knew all of that. Over the blanket. Wanting her hair. Oh, we also don't get to see the graves either. All right, old nightstand. Textbooks, items. Yep, we know all of this. Clinking dishes. I can hear the floorboards creaking, the hand washer noise. And then his purses. Bundle of letters. Don't know why she ever saw me. Okay. Thus, I spent several hours silently sitting and watching through the uncurtained window. It got dark so fast. Did she, too, spend her last night looking out this window? Or did it all happen before dark? And where did it happen? Right here? Or in the living room? I jumped up at the lightning strike and dropped the pieces of paper I found. Wow! Straight onto the ground, and without any delay at all, I still have to go home. I can't stay here overnight. No. The last thing I wanted to do now was stay here. It doesn't matter if the dreams make any sense or not. I think I should really get going home. Within moments I had finished voicing this thought in my head, I suddenly heard rustling outside the window. It sounded as if someone was walking around the house. Once more, no, it's not my imagination. There's somebody outside. Maybe a fox or some other wild animal. Some foul, chilling feeling was envelopping me like a fog. I strained my ears again. Silence. I could, of course, walk to the window, but I was afraid. Okay, this is now all the same. What's happening? Knocks right into the window, banging their head. Holy shit, nasty noises. Still too embarrassed, I admit to myself that I was scared. I slowly got up and left Saveta's room. I can't hear anything. What dreadful silence. I didn't like this house anymore. No, a stranger's house, stranger lives, even for Saveta, a stranger house. What in God's name is this? Could it simply be a stray cat too far from the village? Some kind of animal, tribute to a human, old man. Can't be my imagination, rooted to the ground. Where my soul, a parasitic worm. Okay. I should bounce as soon as possible. I have nothing more left to do here. Walking in such darkness is rather dangerous and plain scary. I think I'm starting to lose my mind already. Considering the fact that I'll go through the cemetery, I took out my phone and called Vova. Beeps. Time after time I tried to get through to him, but he never answered the phone. Doesn't see or doesn't want? The fear was slowly turning into panic. I was standing in the middle of the room trying to figure out what to do. Walk in the night is too dangerous, but staying here is scarier. I stood motionless for quite a long time, zoned in and thinking. A distinct thud kicked me out of my stupor. For a second, I thought somebody returned after me. What a strange sound. It was as if somebody had knocked on the wall of the house several times. Vova? But he didn't answer the phone. Maybe he saw the missed calls and decided not to call back and immediately come here? Or could he have sent somebody after me? I want to believe it with all my heart, but deep down I know that wasn't the case. It could as well be the wind playing with the door on the porch. There was also another round of 3 knocks on the window. Distinct, deliberate knocks. Now we're getting into some horror. Okay. It can't be attributed to birds or a fallen branch. There's somebody out here. There's somebody here. Just in case, I shouted loudly without going to the window. Who's there? Come on in. I'm inside the house. I need help. The voice trembled treacherously. And if it's not, what else could it be? The door on the porch slammed loudly. Oh, there's no sound effect for that. In the corridor, there was a heavy, slow footsteps. I could feel fear stiffening my body. My breathing stopped, like it does just before you jump into the water. The door to the hallway began to creak. Silence. Why doesn't this somebody come in? Why doesn't he say anything? Maybe they're just trying to scare me. And what if it's Vova with his friends? What if he saw my calls but decided not to answer? To come here with his friends and scare me. Having recovered myself a little, I made a few shaky steps towards the doorway. The door in the hall was indeed ajar. The corridor was pitch dark. I was standing and staring into the darkness. The strong sensation of someone standing in the dark and looking at me made my legs buckle. No, it's no Vova. There's no one here at all. Only emptiness. Ah, I see that face. Hello there, Grandmama. I began to think I was seeing someone. My heart began to pound wildly. I reflexively held my hands out in front of me, ready to wave away the inexplicable threat. There's someone standing there. I'm sure of it. There's someone here. There. No. It's impossible. No. And... okay. So, the achievement we just got is called Misery, and... it's your new home. So, it's interesting. So, we just now... I'm assuming we died there. So I'm looking at the achievements, and so there's actually only one more achievement till we get all of them. And it's leave the village with a new friend. So I wonder if that's Vova. So we're going to do it one more time because we have the time, and I was going to wait and actually do it on the YouTube channel, but we're so close that we'll actually do it here. So we'll skip the house, we'll skip that, but we'll ask Vova what his name is instead and see what happens. Oh, Vova. Vova was about to hold his hand out to me, then hesitated a little and said, sorry, dirty hands. It's okay, and my name is Toyoma? I thought it was something different. I don't even remember what it was now. Alright, I won't bother you. You aren't. Almost there. Yeah, it looks like flooded indeed, said the lad on grievance in his voice and began to blow the dry. I wish I could help you. I always wanted to get some technical know-how, but it never happened. Oh, it's not that I know too much. Vova smiled awkwardly and attempted to stave the engine. Okay, we got all of that. We go to the... okay, so now it's all of the same. Okay, new choice. Now that we've talked to him, so we're going to actually save. Go. Oh, that's autosave. That's a quick save. Okay, so we'll go to page 2 now. I'll go on foot. I have to help, otherwise he'll be here until the evening because of me. Okay. Oh! Okay, so we got stuck in mud, actually. So let's go back. What did we do? Oh, okay. So yeah, no, I realized those rocks in this tiny stream on the right, going in a deep puddle. Vova must have gotten into a rut, and the bike slipped, engine choked for a few seconds, and finally stalled. Shoot. We're close. The cemetery is a 10-minute walk away. I can walk from here. Okay, so let's help him. Let me help. Oh, yeah, go ahead. How about the bike into the puddle we stuck in. Oh shit. My feet are all wet. It's fine. Not that big of a deal. I'll dry later. Volva started the engine. I braced myself and pushed as hard as I could. Hard though I pushed, it was no avail. A few minutes later, exhausted, I took a break. Volva looked at me and hesitantly suggested, should we try to rock it? First pull it and then push it as hard as possible? I acted upon Volva's words, and after several seconds of hard work, the old motorcycle began to crawl out of the pit. My trousers were all muddy and my feet soaking wet. Oh no, we got all wet. But then we're so close now. Feet are damp, water squelches unpleasantly, boots sit with him or go. Alright, hold on. Now it's another save. Help the guy out, and that's all. Then I myself, perhaps I'll ride. Ride a little more. Fine, I'll ride with you some more. I liked it quite a bit. Volva smiled. I hope you don't mind me asking, but why are you going there? Is somebody of your family buried there? Alright, another goddamn... Volva, stop asking questions. I'll just say I'm looking for the grave. I say the truth. Actually, distant relative. Yeah, I'm looking for a grave of a distant relative. I see, let's go then. We're almost there. Started a motorcycle again. I hoped on behind him. As I carefully swerved around the puddles, I felt something inside of my clench ever so strongly, and my feet felt thoroughly wet. I just hope not to catch cold. I have something to warm myself in my backpack, though. But still, I'd rather dry my shoes and socks somewhere. Soon the forest split, and now we saw the beginning of the cemetery. Volva pulled over and cut off the engine. I dismounted the motorcycle and handed my new acquaintance the money. Thank you very much. You really helped me out. Not a problem, not at all. Anything. Alright, I'll go look for my relative. I want to be here until the evening, so good luck. And again, thank you. Yada yada. Wait. Huh. Maybe I should ask for your phone number. Oh, okay. We got this call. Okay. Squeezing my chest, crumpled notebook. Say goodbye, where are you? Just confused words. It happened. No need to worry. Someone here. I walked between old graves. Not this time. It's all real now. Alright, so we got all of this. This is all just talking about the graves, grandmother's name. Alright, we got all of this. Kind of, yeah. I hope not to get sick. Maybe for better. Okay, so we did all of this. So we'll just hit. Alright, yeah, we can't see anything. We don't have the flashlight. This is a lot of what we've already seen, so we're just skipping a lot of this because, again, it's all the same. Red things, yeah. Read the books. Bundles of the letters, okay. I spent the spell of ravel, so dark, living hell. Okay. Alright, so we've gotten through all of this. Somebody's outside. Under the windows. Okay. Stray cat, village, yada yada. I need to leave. Called vodka beeps. After time, I tried to get through to him, but he never answered the phone. Oh, I think we might have fucked up. Alright. Volva, his friends, come on in. I think we might have fucked up. And there's the face. There's the face. And we died. Okay, so we need to fix something. So we just left him behind now. So now I wonder what will happen. I'm just going to keep skipping. Okay, do this. We read all of this. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what the other ending is. Because, again, a lot of this is the exact same thing. Lightning strikes, knocking. Okay, so I'll walk from here. Probably fucked it up again. Alright, read the thing. Yep, good. Skip all of this. Skip all of that. Alright, and then you die. So, I guess... ride with him more, and then say the truth. She died while we were still in high school. I've never been here since then. Oh, I'm sorry. That's tough. Alright, let's go. We'll be there in no time. I caught behind Volva again, and he immediately twisted full throttle. Carefully avoiding all the puddles, we were coming closer to the cemetery. I was almost there. Soaking wet, we got there. The guy clearly was not... Yeah, to be honest, I'd lie here. Okay. So now it's another thing. So we'll give him the money, have a little chat with him, and ask to leave me. Okay. Yeah, we'll give him the money. Alright, now let's see if he helps me. Feet are still wet. Read the thing. Stray cat. Parasitic worm. Still scary. Vova, come on in. No. Alright, so I'm not going to chase him away. I thanked him and handed him the money. Here you are, very much. I really helped me. No problem. So where are you? So what? Are you going home, or do you have a walk with me? Aren't you coming back, though? I can pick you up later if you like. Thanks, I was planning on stopping by my friend's house. It must be abandoned now. I'll give you a lift, no pay. Where is it? Nura. There's a farmstead of several buildings there before. Like your face somewhat changed. What? Nothing. It's far from here. It's a strange road from here with a few kilometers long. Obviously, that could... Or Volva really didn't want to go there. There is, but it's terrible. We'll get stuck in every puddle. There was something that made the guy uncomfortable. Her house must have had a bad name now. So many deaths. It might be for the better anyway. Look, let's do it like this. Can you give me your number? I'll probably be there a couple hours and then I'll need you to go back. If you come after me, I'll pay you another 500 plus heading. I won't have to hurry back. Motorcycle roared behind him. That's it. Now I am alone. I just need to find the graves. I waited a little longer. I was nearly there. Okay, so now we get through all of this. Yep. Read the thing. Read the thing. Keep going. Keep going. Okay. Parasitic worm called... Okay. We have something different. Considering the fact that I'll be going through the cemetery, I took out my phone and called Vova. Hastily, I told him that I wanted to get away from there as soon as possible. Vova said nothing. Understanding he's been reluctant to go this far in the dark, I promised I'll pay him an extra 1,000 rubles. Vodka took some time to think and agreed. Great, I just have to wait. Just wait. It's not that hard. I spent some 15 minutes in complete silence, which repassed me like a low ceiling in a locked room. As I was staring to get calmer, I suspiciously thud came from the street, as if someone had slammed the door on the porch several times. Vova? No, it's not him. I wanted it true, but it wasn't him. He was unlikely to go inside the house. Besides, I didn't hear the sound of a motorcycle. I got truly frightened. I twitched my arms nervously, trying to grab something in the air. In the corridor, there was a heavy, slow footsteps, cowering a hedgehog. I held my breath. The idea is not to let out a sound. Should I hide? No. Not a sound, not a step, not even a breath. You have to wait out. I think I spent a whole minute like this. Nothing followed. Could it be my sick imagination? Stress. Lack of sleep? I don't know how. I dared go meet my fear. I went into the hall and looked around a little. It's just as dark as before. Even though I could no longer hear the sound in the hallway, I still had a strong feeling that someone was in the house. I even thought I smelt it again. A smell of moist rot. Could the storm be reason? Oh, babushka! split second, my soul tanked somewhere to the bottom. I started to back away. Feeling my way through the house, I got to Savetta's room and froze. The window. Hastily, I began opening all the latches to the nearly collapsed window frame. Behind my back, somebody muttered, "Faster." I felt like my frantic breathing was about to be torn through by my hysterical scream. It doesn't open. Overtaken by panic, I pushed down on the frame with all my strength and opened outward with a crunch. Faster. I could have sworn that when I climbed out the window, I heard someone muffled talking behind me. I stopped and ran a few dozen meters away from the house. It's so dark. Where am I to go? A few seconds after, I heard a motorcycle. Next, a brightly lit headlight pierced the darkness. Just in time. Time to get out of here. Stumbling, I moved towards the light. It's pitch darkness. Good thing I didn't dare walk. I'd be bound to get lost. I approached Vova and hopped to the seat behind him. Oh, hi, let's get out of here. Vova looked back at me, startled. Full throttle, I'll explain everything later. Vova wasn't tough to persuade. He didn't seem happy to be here either. I can't believe it. My head was pounding. I felt like being pulled out of a deep sleep or taken out of the grave. We rode in the thick darkness, yet Vova carefully avoided each pit on the road. He learned his lesson last time. Certainly did not want to get stuck in the woods in the dark again. Me neither. Cold wind along with steady roar of a motorcycle for some reason began to calm me. It's all over now. Forever. Farewell. I hope to never see this place again. Never ever. And yet, something inside me talked that I won't forget it. Not now, not ever. I'll remember. And one day, I'll come back to see you later. So see you later. Sleep tight. Alright, so that was the other ending. So there's only one other thing I can think of to happen. There is no other endings, however. I think it's just a story-related thing. So I'm going to test that theory real quick. I'm not reading anything different, though. We have most of the story all together. So what I'm going to do... Actually, I hit the wrong button. We're going to load. We're going to go back to the first save. We're going to enter the house. We're going to skip all of this. Let's see what other supplies are. Alright, so we're going to take everything, do all of that, move on. What's your name? I'll go on foot. I just have to help otherwise. Alright. I'll ride with him more. Say the truth. Have a chat. Ask to leave him. Nope. Alright. Alright. Not now. Alright. Get the flashlight and examine everything. We'll put it back. Read all of that. Read all of that. Nothing is there. Look into Savetta's room. Drink some more, perhaps. Took the bottle. Drink all, or read all of that. Not a sound. Oh, I went way too fast. Even though I smelled it again. Smell it. Okay, no, it doesn't matter. So that is all of the endings. Alright, so there you go. Echoes. Alright, so what I was trying to see for that one was if I had the flashlight, would I be able to find the ghosts or anything like that? And the only other thing I could think of is, yes, see the graves and all of that, but... Anyways, so there are all of your endings. So we did do all of the endings. We got all of the achievements. That's kind of funny how we can still hear the motorcycle. So, echoes. So if you were lost during this, there was 3 possible endings. The first ending is you're with Vova. You kind of persuade him to come back at night. He knows about this house and this household. It's haunted. Stuff goes down. He doesn't want to be there. But after some convincing, you can leave with him. And that's, I guess, a neutral ending. The bad ending is if you don't do anything, the ghost kills you. You're now here stuck with the curse because you didn't remember anyone and all of that. We somehow got the good ending the very first time around, which was we got to see the ghost. We put her to rest, saying, hey, we will remember you. We had your drink and all of that. So, with all of that being said, the best possible ending was for Svetka to just accept that she was dead, and we accepted it as well. We thanked her, we remembered her, we celebrated like her family, and nothing bad happened to us. So, with that being said, it's a great game. I would like to thank Bubba Nura, for sending me a free copy of this game. I enjoyed this. So, now it is time to do what we do here on Horror, Gore, and Lore, which is rate the game based off those 3 categories: Horror, Gore, and Lore, off of a 10-point scale, 10 being the best possible score, 0 being the worst. So with that being said, let's start with horror. So, the horror of this game wasn't truly there. It was more of an ambient thing. So, yes, it's creepy. You're in a dead girl's house. Bad stuff happened once you got through the story. So, once you got through all of the information about her father being abusive and her mother being depressive and just overall people died in this house. And they celebrated the dead for years, and it just messed with the whole family dynamic. Once you get through all of that, and you find out, oh, there is a ghost here who wants me out or dead. Once you get through that, that's where you get the horror. If you just skip through this story, you're not going to get much. You have to think about all of your choices, and you guys helped, so thank you guys. I wouldn't have done most of those choices, so I have to say for horror, it wasn't truly a horror game. It had moments where it was trying to scare you, like, oh, there's someone behind you, oh, there's the ghost, lightning strikes, loud noises, and all that. But other than that, it wasn't truly horror. So I can only give this game a 2 out of 10, and that is as generous as I can get. I'm stretching the 2. I was thinking 1, but I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. If you're reading this in the dark, and you have that superstition of ghosts and everything, and just feeling that, okay, stuff has went down, you are now in the character's shoes, you're going to panic and all that, then I'm stretching a 2 out of 10. For gore, there was no gore. You didn't see anyone die, there was no blood, there was nothing. So gore is a 0 out of 10. Now the interesting part of lore. This had a good story. And I know how that sounds. It sounds like I'm going to give this a really bad rating. I'm not. Because it has multiple different endings, it's based off of the choices you made. Was, do you have the wake? Do you drink with Svetka? And do you, like, it's all about choices. And I love games and books and stories that are, it gives you a different ending with the choices you make. So obviously we made some pretty good choices the first time around with all of your help, and we got the good story, we got the good ending. So we found out everything. We found out that Svetka's family worshiped the dead in certain rituals or traditions that praised them. They held feasts for them on certain times of the year. and they would always remember their dead. So you learn that, and we essentially did that as well, just differently. We weren't doing the true tradition, but we had to drink with her. We did give her a book and all of that. So, and then there's the other part where you don't know any of the story and you end up dying because of it, and you anger the ghosts. And then there's that other neutral ending where you learn everything, but you didn't get the best ending because you didn't drink before and all that. So, with all of that being said, the story and the lore of this game, it's troublesome, because if you don't do all of it, you're not going to get a lot of the story. You're going to get bits and pieces of it. But because we did all of it, I'm going to give this game a 7 out of 10. Because we managed to do every single ending and figure it all out, we got all the puzzle pieces, we put it together, it was a great story. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. If we didn't actually play and do, okay, we just left and all that, and we got the good ending and not the others, I was only going to give it about a 4 to a 5. But then we got all the other endings, and here we are, 7 out of 10. So the final score of Horror, Gore, and Lore is 2 out of 10, a 0 out of 10, and a 7 out of 10. So great story, not very scary, there was no gore. So what did you all think? And by you all, I mean moderators Nightbot and Phone Sprite, as well as users Aglet, another viewer, Caparus6, and Tina Riff. What did you all think? So, again, I would like to thank Bubba Nura for sending me a free copy of Echoes. You can get this game for $4.99, or you can get it right now on sale. Hold on. It's kind of hard to figure it out when I can't find it. For $4.24 on sale right now. So, thank you, Bubba Nura, for sending us a free copy of this game. It was a great game. I liked the story. It was very intriguing. And, yeah. So, with that being said, I have been your host, the King of Nightmares, and you've been watching Horror, Gore, and Lore as we presented to you Echoes Part 2. And with that being said, Happy New Year. We are starting off 2022 with a bang, with the developer stream nonetheless. And we will be seeing you this Wednesday for our regular Horror, Gore, Lore channel, as well as on the YouTube channel, which is in the chat right now. I posted it. Join the YouTube channel, subscribe to it, and you will get extra content that you will not see on Twitch. So with that being said, I have been your host, the King of Nightmares, and you have been watching Horror, Gore, and Lore as we presented to you Echoes Part 2. But until the next time, please, may you all have the sweetest of nightmares, and may all of those bed bugs join you, and they wish to be warmed up as well. But until the next time, please, have the sweetest of nightmares, and good night.